Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. This is BSL 18 Hasuleague finals between Tousan and Rotj. Rotj upper left hand corner as the blue Protoss finally getting on the board in the last match. Bottom right hand corner, Tousan. This is going to be on Lobotomy. If you guys do not remember Lobotomy, it is the map where you have kind of this interesting gap in the middle, and then otherwise weird open fields other directions with a lot of ramps to work with. So you got to kind of, and then kind of easily, it's weird. Rallying can be a big issue. Troop movement can be a big issue. The previous map I felt like was really good for Rotj's style of play. We'll see if this is also the case. We might, this is a worker out in the forward field. We are going to see some proxy gateways. It looks like. This might be one of those situations. It is also a two-player map. This is maybe one of those situations where Rotj is thinking, I don't know this map very well, so when in doubt, let's just go ahead and cheese. Now, will this be a one gateway or two gateway dedication? It's first gateway dropping on 9. So, and the probe going to continue. So it looks like it's just going to be one gate initial pressure to try to get early economic damage and an early economic lead. I believe there's going to be, there's a lot of lag in this, which makes it a little harder for Terran to succeed in this sort of scenario. Gas is down. Rotj wanted that gas steal, didn't get it. It's going to turn around, try to do what damage he can. This is pretty early entry for this worker. It could be that Rotj was faking as though he's going for the gas steal to make it look as though there wasn't a forward gateway on the field. But this comes down to micromanagement. Rotj delaying a bit. He had the minerals and the time, and that's going to be precious seconds. Like, part of the success of this is getting those zealots in a little bit earlier. And I'm wondering if we're going to see an expansion behind this. Tousan sees it and sees that it's just a single gateway, so we'll know not to overcommit. And so it'll come down to micro versus micro. He actually went for a second barracks. I wonder if this is going to be a cancellation, though. Usually 2 barracks is not the standard response. So basically Tousan saying, okay, if you want to go one gateway into this, I'm going to go for a hard press back counter potentially. And I don't know that Tousan's going to do this, but it is possible to go ahead and drop an academy and turn this into a quick medic marine fire bat counter. It is an inverted ramp, by the way, at the natural. 2 Marines already down. Rotj holding. I guess that was the plan. Is let's get some units out and then just delay the natural expansion as long as possible because you have to walk up a ramp. But in the meantime, we have enough resources for a factory, and I do not see a factory on Tousan's side of the map, where I do see a second barracks. Could have also been a mistake from Tousan here. Just miscalculating. SCV fielding forward. Continuing to attack away at that pylon, provide some annoyance. 3 zealots waiting, and it looks like, yep, we got double marine production. And so Tousan, is he going to drop the academy? No. Just going to continue. So I guess he just wants to bully up with 2 barracks. 2 barracks does end up out supplying the single gateway in the middle. The zealots walking their way down, finding all sorts of marines, spots the 2 barracks, and going to exit back out. Finally, a dragoon's out. This could actually be trouble, honestly, with the inverted ramp, depending on timing here. The SCV delaying that dragoon a bit, but if the dragoon gets down here and creates a blockade with the zealots, you have misfire both directions. So Tousan now grouping up. The dragoon gonna give some free damage, though. The SCV's already up top. And the dragoon shouldn't have leaded here. Let the zealots lead, absorb that damage. And this is enough that Rotj is like, nope, let's back up. But Tousan's not going to stop with this. He's got so many Marines, he might as well keep pressing. And as I say, he's not going to stop with this. He's halting. The zealots now moving their way back in. 3 Marine kills. But the zealots now cleaned up. And I don't think the Dragoons have enough numbers, especially with the SCV support, although the Marines might want to back up. Dragoon's dead, and now that's a... Man, that SCV did some work on that pylon. So 3 Marines beats a Dragoon, particularly when it's already heavily damaged. So the SCVs might be able to get the pylon and the gateway before this Dragoon sneaks out barely. And so now Rotj going to have to cancel that. He does have an expansion behind this, and SCV's pocketed to get some scouting information as far as the turnaround. But this is going to be a much more rapid command center now for Tousan. So Rotj's initial gambit to try to abuse the inverted ramp failing, and Tousan going to get the scouting information with that hero SCV that did massive damage to the pylon earlier. Going to see that it's a 2-gate robotics follow-up. So Tousan in the best of 7 in a pretty good situation now in game 4. And more SCVs pulling off the line. Is this going to be a continued assault here? It's like, well, I got spare Marines, might as well. Shield battery dropping. So we got 2 Dragoons, one of them already heavily damaged. Come on, select. Select! Damn you. There we go. 6 Marines. But it's against several Dragoons with the shield battery. However, the Dragoon's getting pressed back away from the shield battery, and one of the damaged one was in front, so it dies immediately. So Rotj now in trouble, as 4 Marines are still left alive. Shields regenerating now. Fortunately, a bunker's not getting built, and he has been able to step away and get another regeneration to potentially stay alive and buy some time to get... Okay, now there's an additional bunker being built, but we got 3 gateways and additional Dragoons already out here. The Marine making a run for the bunker, not able to get there. His blood staining the ground, but that last Dragoon wiped out. The SCVs are vicious this game. So the SCVs now doing what they can to get some bonus. We have 3 Marines or 2 Marines and a siege tank making the way up. I don't know that they're going to be able to get into the bunker. Tousan trying to buy some time. Rotj recognizing he needs to make sure that the Marines do not make their way through. It looks like this is going to be sufficient. Never mind, maybe not. The siege tanks and the SCVs able to clear out 2 of the Dragoons. Repair now on that siege tank left, but there's a shield battery there as well. Second round of Dragoons now filtering forward, and probes being pulled off the line to try to deal with this threat. 31 workers versus 26 now. Upon the completion, holy cow, the Marines finally getting cleaned up. And the siege tank and the SCV is going to retreat back home, but the command center up and running. The bunker's empty. We still only have a single factory and the double barracks. It looks like they're going to continue to producing out of this. Haven't seen this in a while. That siege tank is going to get wiped out, so Rotj might have an opportunity to follow up. Siege tech I don't think is completed. I hadn't kept an eye on it in the meantime, but we got 2 siege tanks. Never mind, it looks like it was completed. So Rotj not going to be able to press through. Saves his gateway on the front, but kind of a not really much of a victory there. 7 worker lead now for Tousan. Floating those barracks out to provide the scouting information, finally dropping that second factory. Wild one we're here to start. The observer now queued up. Wonder if he's going to drop a pylon and try to reclamate this gateway. Or just let it stand. But Tousan now in a really good mid-game position. 2 additional factories drop. He's already got the armory up as well to make his way towards +1 weapons. I think Rotj might want to think about bulldogging or something along those lines. He is redropping a pylon here on the front. Siege tanks continuing to plop forward here. Rotj, supply counts are even. Not a good scenario for Rotj. A lot of Dragoons, however, on the front, and we've got 3 siege tanks and an empty bunker. Sorry, we got 2 Marines in the bunker now. So we'll see if this is sufficient. I could see a scenario where this could get broken through. And Tousan playing a little bit forward here. Rotj going to go ahead and grab a quick third, top right. Observer peeling forwards. Reconnoitering. I threw out the SAT word and wasn't able to pronounce it. Serves me right. Reconnoiter. is the word. It's hard to say in the first place. Try it 3 times fast. You got the info. I'm gonna continue to press up. The barracks might be able to spot that third. Ways down. That was a brave SCV. Canceled turret. Tousan playing very, very aggressively with these initial siege tanks. Honestly, overly so. But spotting. And the Dragoons are filtering back. One problem for Lobotomy, for Protoss, is you do have these doodads that tend to segregate your attack forces a little bit. And so even though that pylon was dropped, maybe a Zealot and a Dragoon produced, and now that is all she wrote. Tousan going to move up here and maybe establish this as his third. We have some Zealots in a shuttle. Top right has been spotted. And Tousan clearing out everything else. It looks like the Vulture upgrade's just about finished. +1 weapons is on the edge. Tousan could go ahead and barrel forward, but even with this, like, Rotj has got some work to do to catch up in worker count. Rotj now pressing forward. Zealot's able to get the drop on the midfield siege tanks, and Tousan was far enough forward where some of these exterior siege tanks getting wiped out, pulling back to his natural expansion, re-sieging, but the Dragoons underneath the lines. And Rotj now has enough where he's going to be able to punch through, and this might be a dead natural expansion. Tank sieging on the low ground. Yeah, I was concerned about Tousan playing too far forward. SCV's pulling off the lines. The Zealots look like they're not going to be able to reposition, so the spotting of these siege tanks might be the salvation here. Vulture's making their way up. A lot of SCVs dying. That's equalizing the worker count for Rotj and giving him an opportunity to get economically back in this game. Zealot on the low ground, and natural expansion gone from Tousan. So if Tousan had just played a little bit more defensively, honestly, I felt like this was his game. But now, in a sudden turn of events, Rotj able to equalize, emptying the natural expansion, killing a lot of workers, has closed the worker gap. And he's got 3 bases, and as long as he keeps the macro up, should be able to catch up here. The barracks dropping, however, and Firebats top right. The new meta. Love to see it. A cannon getting dropped. A lot of these workers are already damaged, however. Come on, Firebat attack. Do your job. Love it. Who needs a dropship when you can just drop a barracks? And the Dragoons are boxed out. Wonderful play from Tousan. Gets 2 additional kills. And the probes now hiding. They still gonna get some kills. Barely surviving. Single Firebat gets cleared out, but well worth it. So forget catching up. Tousan able to close the gap with that maneuver. He's all of a sudden got 5 factories. He's building a command center much more conservatively this time. +2 weapons on the way. And just getting that second armory built. Looks like he was a little bit off timing there. Clearing out some turrets to get some additional supply depot spacing area. A lot of gateways up here for Rotj, but with just 40 workers, I don't think he's got enough to make it happen. And Vultures are starting to field out. Might be able to get a surround on these Dragoons. Also might be able to make their way top right. And there is a severe lack of observers in midfield right this second. Acting a little bit strange right there for a half second. So the Dragoon's going to get cleared out. Rotj not in the supply spot he really wanted to be in. It looks like the SCV's grouping forward. This is still going to be a command center that has to flow it out, so small mercies here. That's 3 base versus 3 base with a 15 worker lead for Tousan. The Dragoon's trying to clear the way, but going through this gap, we'll see how it works out. And siege tanks can sit on either side of this wall. Yeah, once Terran get in this position, it can be somewhat challenging to evict them. Rotj looking like he wants to go for it, though. Mine's out to the right as well. He does have a shuttle. The Zealot's scooped up. Are we going to see another base grab from Tousan, bottom left? He's got an SCV hanging out there. Mine's planted over towards that right-hand side. I think this is command center holding right this second. Not quite sure why. In the meantime, this is what, seven gateways? 7 gateways versus 5 factories. Manageable. Some mines getting cleared. Towards that right-hand side. That's about all they're going to get under cover. And Tousan, in the meantime, is going to go ahead and grab that command center in the upper left. Tousan floating that barracks, and I think he wants to look at what the gateway count is if he can. See if he manages to get there. Templar Archives getting dropped last second from Rotj. Trying to say, hey, yeah, I'm going to do the normal Protoss things that you should expect. Going up to Arbiter. But also grabbing that mineral only on the interior. He's going to be behind Tousan, however, with this bottom left-hand base grab. $30 supply lead, 20 supply lead for Rotj. Some nice macro considering he's working at a worker deficit and was behind on bases overall. But +2 weapons now out for Tousan, and I don't think Rotj has well, he's got +1 weapons out there. He is getting this 4th base, but this is an opportunity for Tousan to surge ahead. He's got the 8 gateways up, dropping that 3rd machine shop. And knowing Tousan's macro, I think he is going to be able to capitalize on this. +3 weapons queued up, +1 armor. Not that far away from finishing. And this is now where the stage of the match where there's not a lot of open engagement points for Rotj. And where stasis would have been great. Look at this. Invite stasis. More troops making their way towards the bottom right. Rotj trying to find an angle. There are no Goliaths to push back the shuttle. Never mind, the Goliaths... Where were the Goliaths? A Goliath snipes the shuttle with the turret underneath. Some units flooding in from the north. The Vulture's able to sweep in and push that back. And after that engagement, a blue field of paint where Dragoons once stood. And a massive supply drop for Rotj. And Tousan, recognizing that that was a massive troop donation, going to move right up and threaten the mineral only. And there's GG from Rotj, recognizing he doesn't have the raw troop count to defend. So now, Tousan up 3-1 on Rotj in its best of 7. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.